Protein, baby.
Oh.
My name is Fran Ray. I'm Emmy's mom. Emmy has juvenile diabetes or type 1 diabetes. She was diagnosed about a week before her 4th birthday. Before Emmy was diagnosed or had diabetes, because she did go undiagnosed for a little while, she was such a happy-go-lucky kid, always smiling, always laughing, always playing. If I look back at it, it was obvious that what sent me to the doctor were the typical symptoms of diabetes. She lost a lot of weight very rapidly, and she got very lethargic, and she was really thirsty all the time. We went down to CHOP, and she was admitted into CHOP at that time for probably about 5 straight days while they taught us to deal with her diabetes and tried to get it under control. If she could grab anything, even her own shirt, she would literally just wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap and wrap her hands until I couldn't get to them inside of something, so that I couldn't do that blood test because it hurt her so bad.
Hi, my name is Nikki Ray. I am Emmy Ray's youngest sister. I've always looked up to Emmy from a young age, and I was looking up to her as she was going through her teenage years and dealing with her diabetes. Her teenage years were awful for our family. I mean, it was constant fighting, it was constant lying, because she told my mom and dad that she checked and she didn't check her blood, and just didn't seem to care. She wouldn't take her medicine because no other teenager had to, and it just didn't even seem to faze her that she was hurting her body so badly. One night I was downstairs and I was rollerblading in my basement. My mom came downstairs crying, and my mom doesn't cry. It's a rarity that my mom cries. And she came downstairs, and I asked her why she was crying, and she said because if Emmy doesn't start taking her medicine, she's gonna die. My mom asked me to ask my sister to take her medicine because it clearly wasn't working coming from my mom. So I went upstairs really quickly and I just begged her, and I was sobbing and I was crying, and I just begged my sister, like, please take your medicine. And I would take my 1 allergy pill every day with her when she would take all of her diabetes pills. She went through so much more than every other teenager did. You know, when a normal teenage kid rebels and drinks or does something like that, you know, they get in trouble with their parents and, you know, they may puke. But my sister ended up in the hospital.
Seeing your child have a grand mal seizure is possibly one of the most horrible things you can ever go through, because it just doesn't look like someone can live through a grand mal seizure. It literally looks like they're dying. Not only did I have to see the seizures, my husband had to see the seizures, but her sisters had to see the seizures as well when they were very young. There were times when I had to ask her siblings to hold her down.
She was watching that game, you know that game that it goes around in a circle and you have to hit it when it gets in between those 2 light up like bars. So she was watching that game, and I remember going up to her and being like, Emmy, Emmy. And she didn't stop watching, and she was in a stare. And then all of a sudden she fell to the ground and she was convulsing. And I was maybe 7 years old, and I was holding my sister down as she was having a seizure. I remember visiting her later that night in the hospital and just asking, like, Emmy, are you okay? And she said, yeah, don't worry about me, Nikki, you know, you go home. She gave me the toy that she won that night at Dave & Buster's, and despite everything that Emmy has went through, the relationships that she has formed with everyone else overshines her diabetes.
Emmy's one of a kind, beautiful, very smart, fun to be around, makes me laugh, makes everyone laugh. It's always a good time to be around. Oh, Emmy!
I didn't get you.
Go Eagles!
Go Birds!
Woo!
Yeah, it doesn't stop her from doing anything, ever. Going out with friends, family, doing events, anything. So, I mean, it's pretty cool, actually.
I think as a result of diabetes, Emmy has become a much more independent person, and independent self-sufficient and very resilient.
She was always so brave.
I could not imagine a life without my sister, and I am so grateful for the leaps and bounds that medicine has taken in diabetes. But I truly hope that as a society we continue to fund the JDRF. Never since I've had a pump has it stopped me from doing anything I've wanted to do.